Hello everyone, welcome to part 3 of this replay between miK and ArgOs Zenith and what I can only call an epic battle between Zerg and Terran. miK, now using the mass planetary fortress strategy, should be upgrading these planetary fortresses momentarily. We do have some Vikings over here trying to take down this Ultralisk, or already cleared out some of the Overlords here, so now we have ArgOs Zenith sitting upside down and supply lock at 122 food. The Ultralisk here unable to really do any damage towards those Vikings. Vikings may try to play hopscotch with that Ultralisk, try to land, shoot it down, and then come back up, but not really that great of a strategy. Ultralisk just in his frustration throwing his head and head-butting these destructible rocks, not quite sure what to do. Marauders coming in as well to try to welcome him into this whole entire welcome him with those Punisher grenades. Ultralisk deciding to move back, and now poor Ultralisk is going to get taken down fairly easily. Going to go ahead and move on in. Will the Ultralisk get any kills off in time, stimming those Marauders, almost getting the kill off? No, very nicely done. That creep was not there long enough to allow those Ultralisks, but once again, Overlords now moving out. Are we going to have a doom drop into the main production buildings of miK? miK now trying to intercept with some more of those Vikings. Vikings seeing those Overlords trying to move away. And now Vikings, however, taking a smart right turn and going to be able to intercept this whole entire attack, taking down so many of these Ultralisks and so many of these Overlords. A couple quick hits, and now one Zergling's now being dropped down. A couple of Zerglings and another Ultralisk getting dropped down just in time. However, Mass Marauders continuing to deal with these Ultralisks so easily. So level 3 or 2-0 Ultralisk with these siege tanks able to deal so much damage. And that drop has once again been averted. However, now Mass Mutalisks moving out 16 Mutalisks gonna go ahead and move on out, and those Vikings are not weapon to upgrade. I think if those Mutalisks were weapon upgrade, this would actually be a much different story. As more of these buildings continue to get taken down, go after those Marauders. Marauders have been giving you such a difficult time, and now moving on in to try to move back and forth, trying to take down some of those Vikings. Missile turrets coming in, and the missile turrets are really what's going to deal more damage, as those Vikings have a very only deal extra damage towards armored units. So those Mutalisks perhaps are going to be able to just splash some damage and micro those units. And now ArgOs Zenith going to be able to perhaps clean up the rest of these production buildings. One quick Thor going to come out though, and that Thor may be able to not going to turn around, not going to shoot down these dozen or so Mutalisks, as their Mutalisks now moving back around, trying to trying to save this whole entire army. This army of Mutalisks, about half the size of the total army for ArgOs Zenith. Vikings coming out, venturing very far away, and now Mutalisks may be able to get down some of these missile turrets first. If they're able to take down the missile turrets in time, no, the missile turrets are going to be up, and now these 16 Mutalisks are now down to 10. And a lot of these missile turrets are very low on hit points as well. Gonna go ahead and land, and now a group of Vikings gonna move over and start using those Lancer torpedoes again and shoot down more of those Mutalisks. So Mutalisks unable to really do anything there. Production wise, the whole entire production tab has one refinery. Meanwhile, Unit tab has some infestors, and there are some infestors in this Overlord over here. I do not know if ArgOs Zenith knows about this one infestor. Ultralisk able to shoot down and take down that one unit fairly easily as well. There are a couple queens, and those queens should probably start trying to transfuse. Wow, and that is a lot of larvae just saving up over here. So a lot of larvae will be able to get up a very mass production fairly easily, and finally SCV gonna get taken down. Oh, come on, take down that SCV. Come on, what are you doing? Oh, alright, okay, so I guess I don't know what a new great strategy where you let your opponent keep a Zelnaga watchtower. This one Ultralisk now coming on in will be able to get a couple kills on those Marines, but not able to really do anything else. And now another very nice fungal growth, and catching all of these Vikings off guard. So ArgOs Zenith doing a great job with that fungal growth. Are we going to get another fungal growth? Another fungal growth with spawning mass infested Terrans, as that infestor now moving on up, and now these infested Terrans going to go ahead and move on over. 3 kills on the rest of these Marauders there. Siege Marauders now dealing that damage. But wow, nice mass infestors, and more Zerglings being queued up, and that is going to be very bad for the Thor. Thors really need to be pulling back out, as those Zerglings going to move on in, going to perhaps get a surround and take down the rest of this whole entire army here. Thor having no armor upgrades whatsoever. Zerglings now running on in, able to deal a lot of that damage as well. That planetary fortress, however, will be able to intercept those Zerglings very easily, dealing a lot of damage, 40 damage per pop, ground speed of 2 with a slight splash. Zerglings, wow, with I think that is a 6 movement speed. So Zerglings moving very, very quickly when they are off creepy. You can see that, however, that planetary fortress, 1 splash attack, dealing so much damage. And yeah, it doesn't even have the upgraded range from the engineering bay. I would suggest, miK, if you're gonna go that many planetary fortresses, get the auto tracking. Your missile turrets and your stationary defenses is really what's giving you this game right now. ArgOs Zenith now sitting at a 2450 army versus miK's 1850, and really just back and forth, really mining out of this location here. So both players running off of one base. miK trying to take this expansion and try to fully saturate it. Should probably be trying to call more mules. There's only one orbital command left. Oh, sorry, another orbital command here, and more gas coming in, and now in comes another group of Ultralisk and Zerglings. So very nice getting dropped off before getting dropped off first, and now these Zerglings will be able to just run rampant through this whole entire base. Hellions going to move on over. Hellions with that no Infernal Pre-Igniter, but already dealing 20 damage per attack. They are light units though. And the Hellions moving fairly quickly, 4.25 against those Zerglings, 4.71 after that upgrade. And now those Ultralisks should have just stayed in this position and finished off all those SCVs using that slight splash damage, 2 to 3. We now have, this is essentially all that is left of that army. And ArgOs Zenith, just both players just hitting their head against the wall. Medivacs joining the fight as well. And miK using these planetary fortresses in this absolutely critical position, making it fairly difficult. I think missile turrets here and here would just seal the deal, and a Zerg player would have a nearly impossible time to try to get out. Too bad you cannot neural parasite a planetary fortress. That would be absolutely hilarious. And able to start shooting at some of those Thors as well. Back over here, we have Ultralisk trying to deal with these Marines and Marauders, getting taken down. Broodlings able to finish this off, but now we have some long distance mining coming into play. So long distance mining coming in. The Vespian Geysers still have plenty of gas, but really not much to be dealt with over here. More command centers that can be upgraded to an orbital command if need be. Drones doing that walk of shame. And now I guess it doesn't matter how many drones you have mining from a mineral patch. If you're mining from this far, you're not fully saturated. Back over here, we still have more siege tanks. Marines are upgraded 2-0. I do not see 3-0 upgrades anywhere in the near future. That Marine almost looks like a changeling for some reason. Back over here, no Overseers. Bunkers just in position. More long distance mining. Harvest, you can see the harvesting count. Hellions will be able to be toasting the rest of these drones very easily. Now with the Infernal Pre-Igniter dealing 30 damage per splash, and you can see all of these drones simply just getting torched. And you can see that all of these, yeah, down to 11 harvesters, 9, down they go, down to 5 harvesters, and this game is nearly over. Losing 60 drones in a matter of seconds. I think that's the first time I've seen that is a Commander Hellion. 22 kills on one Hellion. Once again, using another large drop, trying to move on in and trying to drop down as much as possible, as quickly as possible. Infestors coming in as well. You should probably see some fungal growth making it so that those units are unable to stem back and move any further. There are still 4 of these Ultralisks in play. Really, Neural Parasite needs to be used in order to try to commandeer some of those Thors, and that would really change the game, as those Thors would be able to start shooting back some of those Vikings. Vikings now coming in to rejoin up on this fight, but now ArgOs Zenith in trouble. Not much to really do. Hellions torching the rest of these Infestors there, and I believe that is GG. ArgOs Zenith has no income. Either does miK at this stage in the game, but the army size 3,100 compared to 3,325. That is really, really difficult to overcome. And yeah, Vikings have just been the real issue for ArgOs Zenith. Those Vikings so strong against those overlords, much better than the Wraiths in the original StarCraft. Very, very strong. We had a couple of transfusion on those overlords. Not quite sure why transfusing those overlords, but yeah, things are not looking good. The whole entire center of the map, command center is now being lifted off, and I can only imagine what miK has in store for those command centers. miK did in fact salvage some of his bunkers, and now he will have a much more mobile army, training up 4 additional Marauders. And now we have a 900 mineral army. We have roaches, 8 roaches, 1 Ultralisk, and 1 Queen, and that is all that is left of this army. We have another command center being moved out. We have the hatchery being relayed down over here, but ArgOs Zenith has no minerals for drones. So even though he reestablished this hatchery over here, he does not have any drones whatsoever, unable to mine anymore, and now he's going to have to try to finish this game with what he has left, and that is not very much. Level 3 armor upgrades on that Queen, but really not much can be done. Roaches and Ultralisk able to come in over here. Sorry, wasn't watching the mini-map for, I guess, a little while, but still, these roaches and this Ultralisk sitting over here, not going to be able to deal that much. Ultralisk coming into his doom. Roaches getting taken down. Army down to 75, down to 20, 0-0, and that is the end of the game. I do have a translation of this. I believe ArgOs Zenith was just complaining about how difficult this whole entire game was, going back and forth. I hope you guys did enjoy this game, though. Let me see if I can fast forward some of this a little bit. This is the end of the game. ArgOs Zenith did say GG. This was, in fact, a close to, 45-minute game here. And for all of you guys who can read Korean, I'll go ahead and let you read Korean and see all this. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 epic replay with just massive amounts of siege tanks, Thors, Ultralisks, no Broodlords, a lot of Viking play here on Steps of War.